such comments for their political survival. On the contrary, we must be emboldened in the knowledge isolated and are being treated. The implementation of our strategy of aggressively tracing, testing, and treating is our surest way of rooting out the virus. This early identification of persons with the virus ensures that they do not spread the virus to others. We are provided with the opportunity to treat them, and it helps us to understand better the dynamics of the virus. The rapid implementation of all of our policies, distancing protocols to contain the spread of the virus, as they are the surest way to a quick return to a life of normalcy. All stakeholder bodies I have interacted with over the last 3 weeks in the health, labor, religious, chieftaincy, educational, hospitality, tourism, and creative arts sectors share in this opinion because collectively we believe they are essential for our very survival. These groups are also being engaged on the way forward towards the easing of these restrictions so that our social and economic lives can go back to normal whilst protecting lives at the same time. Soon those engagements will enable us to design a clear roadmap for the easing of restrictions. In my address to workers and the nation on May Day, I announced the extension of the closure of our borders for 1 more month as the means to continue halting the importation of the virus into our country. Tonight, I've come into your homes to announce that the ban on public gatherings, as set out in Executive Instrument number 64, has been extended also to the end of the month, i.e. 31st May. So during this period, there will continue to be a ban on public gatherings such as the holding of conferences, workshops, parties, nightclubs, drinking spots, beaches, festivals, political rallies, religious activities, and sporting events. All educational facilities, private and public, continue to remain closed. There's still a ban on funerals, other than private burials conducted with not more than 25 persons. It is noteworthy that the police are arresting and prosecuting persons, irrespective of their status in society, who flout these regulations. We cannot allow a few persons, for their narrow, selfish interests, to jeopardize the health, well-being, and safety of the larger population. If you fall foul of the law, you will face its full rigors. Fellow Ghanaians, like you, I would like to see an end to these restrictions. I know the difficulties each and every one of you has been through over the last 2 months. You've had to alter completely your way of life. You've had to stay at home, except for specified purposes. You cannot travel outside the country. You cannot go to church. And you had to cancel activities usually associated with Easter. In this holy month of Ramadan, our Muslim brothers and sisters are having to pray at home instead of congregating at the mosque and foregoing the public celebration of the Eid. Parents are having to bear the extra burden of providing care for their children who, instead of being in school, are currently at home. Operators of trotros, taxis, buses, markets, hotels, restaurants, bars, and nightclubs have lost their patronage of their clients and, as a result, lost much-needed incomes. Significant numbers of people have unfortunately lost their jobs because of the impact of the virus on our economy. Most of us want to hang out with our families, friends, and loved ones in a social setting, but cannot. Uncomfortable as these restrictions have been, we have no option but to stay the course. We can only guarantee the safety of each other if we continue to adhere to them. As I've said before, these restrictions cannot and will not be a permanent feature of our lives. And shortly, I hope to announce the steps for systematically easing the restrictive measures to bring us back to normality. Each one of us, however, can help to speed up this process if we continue to... As I've said before, these restrictions cannot and will not be a permanent feature of our lives. And shortly, I hope to announce the steps for systematically easing the restrictive measures to bring us back to normality. Each one of us, however, can help to speed up this process if we continue to practice the measures of social distancing. 23 goggles, 60,132 of sanitizers, 50,770 head covers, 41,992 gowns, 41,000 medical scrubs, and 30,783 N95 face masks. Further, we are giving this gesture to other frontline actors engaged in the fight, with the presentation of 5,000 PPEs to members of the media. And tomorrow, Monday, 11th May, 10,000 domestically produced face masks and more money will be delivered to the National Commission for Civic Education to enhance its capacity to undertake the important work it is already doing. Let me once again thank the healthcare workers, including all those responsible for the tracing, testing, and treating, for their heroic contribution to the fight against the pandemic. They will be long remembered in our history. In advance, I say a hearty aiko to the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, which celebrates its 60th anniversary on Tuesday. This weekend, I chaired a 3-day cabinet retreat at Peduase Lodge to examine in detail measures aimed at reviving and strengthening our economy. I'm happy to reiterate that government has put in place a resilience and recovery plan with the overarching aim of finding more resources to strengthen the productive sectors of the economy to ensure sustained economic activity. We're rolling out a soft loan scheme of 600 million cedis in this month of May to support micro, small, and medium-scale businesses. And as you know, the commercial banks, with the support of the Bank of Ghana, have also instituted a 3 billion cedi credit and stimulus package to help revitalize industries, especially in the pharmaceutical, hospitality, service, and manufacturing sectors. The Minister for Finance is working tirelessly to find additional resources to supplement these amounts, including the resources to finance the Constitution and the nation. Before bringing this address to an end, it is critical that I raise the significant side of the fight against this virus, which has not been given enough emphasis, but has to do with a change in attitude that will impact on our lifestyles. That has to be one of the permanent legacies of the pandemic. We have to improve our hygiene, our fitness and exercises, our eating, our style of living, which will boost our immunity to disease and the virus. For instance, we're told that the key vitamins that fortify our immune system are vitamins A, B6, C, and E. Fortunately for us in Ghana, all of these can be found in many of our foods, such as oranges, kontomire, millet, cashew nuts, crabs, plantain, okra, dawa, brown rice, and mushrooms. Following a good diet, patronizing our healthy foods, exercising really, imperialism, colonialism, tyranny, and dictatorship. And we have overcome them all so that, with the help of the Almighty, we are today building a free, independent state. A state that, despite the urgency of the crisis, is governed by democratic institutions and respect for fundamental human rights, especially freedom of speech. That is as it should be. For we are determined in our generation to realize the dreams of freedom. Good night. That we will overcome this pandemic.